Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor. Today we're going to be doing a coaching session for I believe, a silver Nautilus. So special thanks to Sammy for donating for this video. If you'd like a coaching session yourself, just email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. I'm happy to set that up for you. I'm live streaming this as well, so you might hear me interacting with the chat. And I'm splitting my time streaming these days between YouTube and Twitch. I stream on Twitch on weekends, Friday and Saturday, and then YouTube every other night. And then every night, regardless if it's on Twitch or YouTube, starts around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Goes till usually about 2 a.m. So come by, check it out. We'd love to have you. It's a wonderful, very chill community. Now, one set of runes that I've been trying lately on a lot of different champions that I highly recommend for Nautilus, and this is as of patch 9.15, so it might change if you're watching this in the future, is Presence of Mind, and then the Tenacity rune, and then you get the Tenacity rune, I forgot what it's called, in the Resolve tree as well. It's the very bottom tree off to the right. When you use your summoners, you get tenacity and slow resistance. I think with both of those, you end up with a very, very large amount of tenacity. Especially if you need to get Mercury Treads later. And it's just so awesome to just, be able to just get right through all of that CC. And Presence of Mind is just so strong in general. It gives you, like, a mana refund in fights. Nautilus can have mana problems in really long fights, so the mana regen's nice, but then obviously getting the extra CDR on your ult is very good because he has such a high impact ult. And it sort of circumvents the CDR cap. So that allows you to have more than 40% CDR. So I really, really like that combination right now. You're at full mana. I'd probably go up and try to just push a little bit more. Kayn is top side, and Nocturne could be bot side. It's likely Nocturne started red, though. Yeah, you want to try to stay close to him so that if he gets hit by the Jhin, you can tank that W so it won't root him. Yeah, I would really go with the tower damage rune. I'm blanking on all the names. It's late at night. But I would really go with the tower damage runes. Just so that if you can push him out of lane, you can get some extra damage in there. Now, against this lane, I'd probably go Second Wind. You can go Bone Plating as well. But against Karma, like, you might want to go Second Wind, because you're going to be taking a lot of hits. I mean, you're kind of keeping up in farm, but you need to be kind of standing in front of him. You do have a shield, and you have full mana, too, so I would be trying to help him thin out this wave with your E some so it doesn't crash the tower. And then early on, I would have been trying to push. Jhin has a hard time last hitting under tower because he has his reload mechanic, so he has to use grenades for it, but then the grenades will potentially hit the minions unevenly. So if you can, try to put that Jhin in a tower would be nice. It's hard to do that against Karma, but okay, now you're going to have to back. Okay, yeah, unflinching. It's good. I wouldn't go Shield Bash. Shield Bash is, like, I've tried it on different champs. I think Rakan's, like, one of the better champions you could try it on because he has kind of a permanent shield until it breaks. But even then, like, the numbers are just too low on it. So I would go Demolish. Well, maybe we'll, like, it depends. Yeah, Kog'Maw does like Ardent Sensor users, but, you know, we're not... I'm just going to work with what we got here as far as Nautilus goes. I think Nautilus can work with anybody in theory. You know, really anything that starts a fight because, like, you know, a lot of times you don't even have to play around your AD carry in the mid game. You just get Moby Boots and just go to whoever you can kill. And right now in this meta, and you just run around and just every time your ult's up, just kill somebody. I think those types of champions are really good right now, and Nautilus is one of them. And then you've got, like, your Rakan, your Pike. But I think you're playing too far back, for sure. Like, you have full health and full mana. You need to be at least up here, like, threatening. Because sometimes, even if you don't go in, like, just being there and just looking scary can keep them from harassing the Kog'Maw. And then, of course, you can take some hits from him, too. Like, eat a couple of Karma Qs and things like that so he doesn't have to. Like, obviously, you don't want to eat them, like, 100% for free, but if somebody's going to get hit, you know, you want it to be you rather than the Kog'Maw. Now, they're almost out of mana here. And I'm sure you're aware of this, but you want to try to get not only the cannon minions with your charges, but the melee minions give a lot more gold than the range minion. But, you know, in this kind of situation, you just kind of have to get what you can get, I guess. But yeah, you're playing way, way too far back. You're playing like Janna level far back. So, like, one thing is you just need to look menacing, you know? Like, you need to just stand up front, kind of, and just, like, just look like you could go on them at any moment, just to keep them scared, you know? Just keep them guessing a little bit. Okay, yeah, go up. Yeah, there you go. Okay, great. I might have flashed after him after he flashed there. Because your E was probably going to be up again. Alright. Yeah, I mean, I was just using Janna as an example. But yeah, Janna should be harassing too. But yeah, in general, you know, you just want to try to put... I mean, I know it's scary and, like, you're, you know, you're losing the lane anyways, but... like, just being up there, just looking scary. If nothing else, like... It'll keep you, like, relatively unpredictable, so they won't know if a gank's coming. So that way when Kayn comes in, if you're, like, always sort of near the front, like, ready to hook him any moment, even if you haven't done it very much, then, you know, they got to respect it. I would probably get boots. I've been really highly favoring mobility boots, like rushing early before getting other stuff on pretty much every support. It's because it allows you, like, you get back to lane faster when you ward so that you get more experience, and it allows you to rotate around the map and potentially, you know, make some plays mid lane or in the jungle. Allows you to dodge the enemy skill shots if you're not actively in combat, so... I just really like Mobies in most situations. Especially if you go with the double tenacity runes that I was just talking about. You still get a high level of tenacity even if you have... even if you don't go Mercury Treads. That's pretty nice. Now, Jhin doesn't have flash, so I would go on the Jhin. I just press R on Jhin. Especially, like, once they use their stuff, like, once Karma uses her empowered Q, you need to go. Because she's really weak if she doesn't have her empowered abilities. So, yeah, definitely play forward a lot more. I'm going to speed this up. Yeah, press R on him. Press R on the Jhin. She was dead. I think you could have gotten both the Jhin and her. The thing is, if you put the R on the Jhin there also, it'll probably knock her up too, because it knocks up everyone that's in the way. Yeah, Glacial Shroud's pretty good. I would definitely get boots. Like, the thing with Nautilus, like, you want to upgrade your ward item to tier 4 ASAP because it gives you more gold generation. Because you can get 4 charges instead of just 3. It also gives you health, and it gives you CDR, and it gives you a lot of passive, like, just natural health regen. So, any champion that uses Relic Shield, you really want to level that up super fast. And you also want mobility boots. So, I would probably not get Glacial this early, although it's not terrible. It's just, I would definitely not go Aegis after that. Because Aegis kind of sucks. Like, you need it to get to Zeke's, but it's kind of a feels bad buy. Doesn't have CDR on it, doesn't have health on it. It feels kind of bad. You have your ult, just ult Jhin. Just ult him. I think you're definitely playing a bit too passively here. Like, if you're just kind of making a comeback or whatever, you know, you say you've been on vacation for a little bit and you're not really sure about, like, you know, limits or whatever, when you should be aggressive or not. You know, maybe just play an Enchanter. You know, there's no shame in that. Just playing like Janna or Sona, Nami. So just something that scales a little bit better. So if you just want to, like, if you're not going to try to really, like, push your advantage in the lane, then that way you at least scale pretty well. Okay, that was a good R. But I mean, like, you're staying close. Your Kog'Maw is only 5 CS down, so yeah, I would definitely at least posture like you could hook them anytime, even if you don't go all the time. Okay, there you go, boom. See, there you go. Got a hook, killed him. You beat, like, Nautilus has a lot of CC, and he does pretty respectable damage early on if he gets the full combo on people. Get him, Kog'Maw? Oh, he's not getting him. Yes, I would not complete the Zeke. I mean, like, Zeke's is a very good item, but they did nerf it, I think, near the end of last year. So it's like, it's still pretty good, but it's not like as OP as it was. I think what's really OP is just getting a bunch of CDR, Moby boots, and running around and using your ult. So people are probably going to die anyways. If you hit them with your ult, and then you land a hook on them, they're probably dead, regardless of if you get that extra, you know, 150 damage off of Zeke's. Man, that Kog'Maw just bowed up on him. He just flexed on him. Brought out the bow flex. Does bow flex still make stuff? Hey, what's up, Zakatsu? We are splitting time between YouTube and Twitch. We're going to be on YouTube Sunday to Thursday, and then Twitch Friday and Saturday. I've got a whole video about it that I posted a couple of days ago on the main page. Basic gist of it, we don't have a lot of viewers on Twitch, and we were not trending up at all after a month, but we do have a lot of subscribers on Twitch. So I still want to do some content there, but I also want to go where the most viewers are. There were some other things too. Like, I was actually bleeding a pretty good chunk of money because Twitch doesn't pay affiliates any ad revenue at all, and the ad revenue is not like insane for YouTube, but it's a lot more than zero. It's infinitely more than zero. So yeah, but I mean, basically that's just it, is we just weren't getting the kind of viewers I was expecting to get on Twitch. I gave it a month, you know, but we're gonna have it on, so if you like either platform, you'll have at least a couple of days a week on either platform. If we start getting enough people on Twitch on those 2 days, then, you know, we'll think about maybe adding another day on Twitch or something at some point if we get to partner. But we looked like we were going to be quite a long ways off the partner. We were only averaging 57 viewers, which is pretty low for my stream, considering, you know, we're coming from a place a couple of months ago we were having 150 to 200, so yeah, what are you maxing? Whoa, okay, yeah, that's something we definitely need to talk. You need to max E. Like, 100%. You max E every game, every time. That's your slow, it's your damage, it's your wave clear, like, it's everything. You definitely need to max E. After that, it's debatable what you get second. I personally like the shield more, but Hook has been buffed a lot. So, you know, I could see an argument for Hook second, but your E is like all of your damage. It's like AoE, big slow, big damage. I mean, pretty much everybody, like who plays Nautilus a lot at a, you know, fairly high level is going to max E. Like the wave clear, you don't want to underestimate wave clear. Even as support, you don't, like, not every support has it, but it's really nice if you can get it. That's one thing I've noticed going back to WMAX on Recon. Like, it definitely is relevant, like, that you can have that wave clear. Like, you know, pushing in a wave 5 seconds faster so that you can back, you know, can actually, it adds up over the course of a game. You know, if you get to that dragon 5 seconds faster, the Baron 5 seconds faster because you're able to get priority with your E, you know, that can be the difference in winning a game or losing a game sometimes. If you're there first, you get the wards up, you sweep out their wards, like, it's a big deal. Ninja Tabby. They do have 3 AD champs, but I would still probably get Mobies. I just think the movement speed is just so valuable in, like, the Clown Fiesta kind of games where everyone's just running around. Right there, you could have thrown an E in. I don't know if it would have made a big difference. But, like, your combo should be, like, you hook, you auto, then you E. because that allows your auto attack timer to go on cooldown faster. Or it might even be like you hook, you auto, use your W for the auto attack reset, and then you E. Because getting in those extra autos definitely adds up over time. People forget that like when you activate his shield, it's an auto attack reset. So you want to get maximum damage out. So like you don't want to hook and then E if you can help it. I guess that does get the cooldown going on your E faster, but I know it sounds a little counterintuitive not to max the hook because on pretty much every hook champion you max the hook, but it's just because his E is so strong. For team fights especially. I mean, like, I think W max is probably the worst. Like, W doesn't scale that well at all. You get like an extra, I don't know, 30 shield or something on it. The cooldown doesn't change. Oh, we got him. Nice. All right, what do you get now? I would definitely complete your forward item. Like, with a lot of champs, you don't need to complete it. Like with the if you're going coin or spell thieves, but the relic users really need to complete it. Like it's such a good bargain because you don't get any CDR on the tier 2 item. It's the only gold item where you don't get CDR at tier 2. You have to have tier 3. So you're automatically getting like a free 266 extra gold for the 10% CDR. And you're getting health, which is one of the best stats in the game, particularly for tanks. You're getting a flat amount of extra regen, which is better earlier in the game, so you want to max it earlier, like when you're in the laning phase. And you get better gold generation because you get 4 charges. So it pays for itself really quickly to get that up to, and of course you get the 4th ward, which is very nice. So, you know, with spell thieves, usually you don't max that tier item until later. But with relic, you should almost always get it as your first or second completed item at the latest. Yeah, and I don't know what... I wouldn't get a Spectre's Cowl. I'm not sure what you're building. Are you getting Spirit Visage? I would get a Knight's Vows second in a lot of circumstances. Possibly, if you're worried about their magic damage, a Locket would be the better magic resist item. Just stuff that helps out other people on your team. Like you pretty much, you very rarely want like a selfish item that just gives you a lot of stats. Really, Nautilus doesn't need to be like that tanky, you know? Like kind of tanky, but a lot of times you just press R on somebody, hook them, auto attack them, and then you can just like walk away, like E them and just walk out. Like you don't have to stand in there and just keep auto attacking if you want. Yeah, that's true what Matt said. You do get the charges a lot faster. And it executes at a higher life total too. And your auto attack animation is faster when you get the tier 3 item. So it makes it easier to get those charges in traffic. I mean, you're playing all right, Sammy. I mean, I just, you know, donating for some advice, so we're just trying to give some advice. I don't think you've, from what I remember, it doesn't sound like you've played Nautilus a lot in the past, so. Yeah, I wouldn't go Proto Belt. Redemption, maybe. That's pushing it on the squishy side early, but I think that something like Knight's Vow or Locket could definitely work without having to go to like the big ticket tank items like Spirit Visage. He doesn't even have a heal. maybe you're going Adaptive Helm, but either way, like, I don't think you need, like, Spirit Visage, Adaptive Helm, Randuin. Like, the only big ticket tank item I would get, the one that costs more than, like, 2,400 gold, would be maybe Frozen Heart. If they have a lot of, like, 3 AD auto attackers, I think Frozen Heart could be legit. But you would get that instead of Zeke's. Maybe Abyssal Mask. I still think it's expensive. Like, it's pretty much most games on tanks. You want some combination of Zeke's, Knight's Vow, Locket. Pretty much. If you're not sure what to get, just get those items. Usually in that order. And then if you need some specialty stuff, you can get some specialty stuff maybe, depending on the tank. But, like, those are your 3 kind of core items that you get on tanks. And then the fully upgraded forward item and Moby Boots. I think those are, like, that's what you should rush number 1. Like, on any engaged tank. Moby Boots, tier 4 Relic Shield, or the tier 3 Relic Shield. And then after that, Zeke's. And then the game's probably going to be over most of the time if you're, you know, really putting a lot of pressure on the map. But if you do get to one final item after that, then maybe Knight's Vow. Now keep in mind, you should be buying a hell of a lot of control wards too. Especially on engaged champs. You want to just constantly, anywhere you are, you want to make sure they don't have any vision. So that you have a better chance of getting a successful engage. Yeah, I think Adaptive is questionable because they don't even have, like, a lot of sustained damage AP. Like, I could see Adaptive if they have, like, a super fed, like Cassiopeia or Rise or Azir or something like that, maybe. I was just about to question mark thing that. But, like, all they have right now is Ori, who's basically a burst mage. Like, she does some sustained damage moving her ball around. And just, like, Karma, you know, who's a support with support items, so. Yeah, it does actually have CDR on it, so. It's not like it's ridiculously bad. It's just you're kind of overpaying for that. Like, the items that I mentioned all have, like, about 150% efficiency or higher. And a lot of, like, the big tank items only have, like, 100 to 130% efficiency. It's rough. That dog's going to town. Oh, got him! Nice. Locket does feel pretty weak. That's why I would only get it as a 3rd item a lot of times. I really wish they did at least put CDR on it. Like, maybe lower the magic resist by, like, 10 and throw 10 CDR on it or something. But the problem with buffing tank items is tanks are still dominant in pro, and they have been for, like, almost since inception. Except for the Ardent Sensor meta and, like, maybe a couple other metas where, like, Zyro was very strong or Nami was very strong. It's almost always been tanks. So. It's difficult to buff their items. And, like, junglers will take it too, like jungle tanks, like Sejuani and stuff. When things like Knight's Vow or Locket or whatever are too strong, like, they'll start taking those items, and that creates a lot of problems too. I've talked about a lot in past videos. It's like, enchanters, you can make their items pretty strong because only enchanters are going to use them. Usually, except for, like, Ivern, and then you can just nerf Ivern, which is what they've done a lot. But, like, if you make tank items really strong, support tank items, there's a lot of champions in different lanes that can get those items and abuse them, potentially, so. But it's like a lot of champs just aren't going to use plus healing and shielding. And items with, like, no tank stats, like the enchanter items. Obviously, there are some exceptions there, but you've seen that a lot in metas where these items have had to get nerfed. Like Knight's Vow, Locket, all of this was because usually jungle tanks abuse it because it's cheap. It's too cheap. It's designed for champions that have a really low gold economy. Yeah, but you really need CDR on tanks. It is kind of achievable, but you got to remember on tanks, like, you're already having to buy a tier 3 warding item to get CDR, whereas with Frostfang and Coin, you don't have to. Also, you're getting mobility boots, which is not going to have CDR typically. And Locket is just one of the main items that, like, a lot of tanks should get, and it doesn't have CDR on it. So what are your CDR items then? So, okay, you got Zeke's, you got Knight's Vow. It's 20%. Versus Enchanters, like, every single one of their items is going to have CDR on it. Like, Locket is the only support item, basically, mainstream support item that doesn't have CDR. And a lot of times they're going into a tree like Airy or something like that where they can take Transcendence also to get more CDR. Whereas like tanks are usually going into the Resolve tree, which doesn't offer any CDR options. That's why a lot of them are going like, I think Presence of Mind is so good because it helps out a little bit with that, but anyways. Okay, Knight's Vow next. I like that. So yeah, I would just like, I mean, my theory is if Redemption's going to have CDR, Locket should have CDR. Because those are both big teamfight items. They're both very strong, very efficient. Nice. Because Locket already is like more expensive than Redemption, and it doesn't have health on it. And it's not as cost efficient as Redemption is. And it doesn't scale as well. So. I don't think they should just give it a free 10% CDR, but I think they should reduce the amount of magic resist on it and trade it for CDR. I think that would make it a lot more viable to get Locket like first or second. But I know, but my, like, Enchanters get it, though. Like, that's the thing, is it's the tank supports that don't get that. I mean, other lanes don't really, like, mid laners don't really have to itemize anything special to get 40% CDR either. They just get, like, blue buff and, like, one of their mana items, and they're at 30% right there. Anyways, okay, so what are the things for this game other than debating itemization that we saw there? I think definitely be a bit more aggressive in the early game for sure. Just like posture aggressively. And then itemization wise, like we mentioned, I think that getting Mobies and then the tier 3 ward item would definitely be where you want to be early on. And then something like either a Zeke's or a Knight's Vow would probably be it. There are some like kind of specialty items you can get on Nautilus if they don't have a lot of damage, depending on the runes that you take. So if you take Font of Life, which I don't always recommend that, but like if you have something like a Kog'Maw on your team, which scales super well with Ardent Censer, you can actually take Font of Life and then Ardent Censer on Nautilus, because he does have good... he does have a shield, like a pretty big shield for the 10% CDR. Excuse me. And like his AoE slow would apply the Font of Life debuff on everybody pretty much constantly, so that would allow you to give out the buff. And he does have pretty decent AP ratios on his hook and his ult, and his E's okay. So it does make you squishier. It does increase your all-in damage, and it does increase Kog'Maw's damage. So, once again, I don't do that all the time, but if you see you have a Kog'Maw on your team and you want that as an option, you can take Font of Life, and then if Kog'Maw gets really fed, you can think about it, especially if they don't have a lot of heavy damage on their team. Other options somebody mentioned is you could think about Redemption, but once again, it's going to make you a lot squishier in team fights. Yeah, in general, I think Zeke's or, like, Zeke's in a Knight's Vow into Locket but first getting Moby Boots and your tier 3 ward item. Hi. What you doing, Sadie? But yeah, so that's one thing, is just work on the itemization a little bit, be more aggressive early. I think buy more control wards. I don't remember seeing a lot in your inventory. Every time I looked in there, I don't think I saw a lot of control wards, so you should be averaging at least 1 control ward per 5 minutes. So, 30-minute game, you should have about 6 control wards. You should probably have more than that, but I think that's kind of like a good, just even number to think about. I guess 5's technically an odd number, but a nice, memorable number. And what else? I thought most of the fights were pretty good. There were some where I think you could have ulted the backline a little bit more. You were like that one time I'm thinking of bot lane where you ulted the Karma and she was pretty much dead already. But remember, if you ult the backline, then it knocks up everyone on the front line also. So if people are really grouped up, like, there's really no reason to ult the front line, because they're going to get knocked up anyways when you ult the back line. Like, everything in a line with that missile gets knocked up and still gets dealt quite a bit of damage. But you want to make sure you shut up that back line. It CCs them for like 2.5 seconds, I think, at level 11, even if you don't follow up. You did? Okay, well, my bad. If you had a lot of control wards, you can, I'm just telling you, can op.gg it, look and judge for yourself in your games. Are you getting, if the games are lasting more than 20 minutes, are you averaging at least, 1 control ward per 5 minutes? A lot of the top-end supports are going to have, in a lot of games, 10 to 15 at the end of most games. So they're going to have a lot. Now, you may not need that many, but, I've got entire videos about control wards and just how strong they are. It's not just that it's your 4th ward that gives you extra vision. It's that you get to deny the enemy vision, which is huge. And keep in mind, if you just clear one of their wards, it really only costs you 45 gold, because you get 30 gold for clearing one. So it's basically 45 gold to just deny the enemy vision. And it's so huge. Like, it just allows you to land your hook, just to get better roams on people. Like, it's the most OP item in the game, basically, are control wards. That's why they only let you carry 2 of them now. Because back in the day, they were so strong. Like, before they put a limit on it, you would literally, as a support, like, all you would do is just pretty much buy control wards. Like, every time you backed, you'd buy like 5 control wards. That would be like 50% of your budget would be control wards. They were that strong. So that's why they've limited it to 2, so that supports don't have to do that anymore, and they can actually buy other things. Because I know they're not the sexiest, like, most fun thing, but anyways, you can decide for yourself if you're buying enough control wards, but that's kind of the metric that I think is good to look at. I think otherwise it was pretty good. I mean, you had some nice engage, some good CC. Don't forget, you can also back up a little bit too. They didn't have a lot of AoE. They had like the Orianna and like the Karma, I guess. But if your CDs are on cooldown, you can back up out of there so you don't take AoE damage. Your autos don't do like that much. So I think that sometimes as a tank support, it feels like when you go in, you have to stand there and just like take all of the damage. But once you land your hook on somebody, auto attack them, get an E off, and then ult the back line, you can walk around and hit other people and try to get those stuns, which is nice. But you can also step back and try to peel your AD carry if you want to and not get hit by as much AoE damage. So it just kind of depends on the situation. But I'm just throwing that out there because that's something that I see a lot of people do, and also that I'm guilty of from time to time too. I get in trouble with that as Rakan. Now Rakan is squishier, but when you ult somebody, just trying to get in those extra couple of auto attacks for damage and then getting like blasted. So anyways, I think that's pretty good. So main thing, just posture more aggressively, be more aggressive early. The skill max too. Max E, and then you can decide if you want to do W or Q. I like W. I think a lot of people do W, but you can do Q second if you want. Focus on getting the Moby Boots and the forward item and just really dominating the vision game. Try to make a play. Every time your ult is off cooldown, try to go make a play on it. Like, okay, my ult's up, who can I kill? If you can't kill your bot lane, if they have a bunch of flashes or they're playing like Ezreal Pike or just something that's impossible to kill, go roam middle lane. See if you can make a play on that. So I think that's one thing that, I think Crumb said that back in someone that I was listening to a while ago said that it's like one like really quick way to climb a support is just figure out like a key cooldown that you want to use and just use it on cooldown every time. Also, try out the runes that I mentioned as your secondaries. Try Presence of Mind and then the Legend Tenacity. I had some really good results with that, and that's been really hot on Rakan lately. But I think it's also very nice on Nautilus as well for the reasons I talked about earlier. But yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you very much. Anyone else out there that like coaching, remember, just email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. If you want to watch more coaching videos, I'll have a link in the description. This is going to be like the 188th or something coaching session on the channel. So you can always go back, check out more of these sessions if you like them for kind of an in-depth analysis of some different champions and their gameplay. But yeah, that's going to be it. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.